Good morning. Happy Monday. Do my little side work and wait for people to arrive. Oh, there's one person. There we go. Okay, so welcome. It is Monday. We are starting book week this week. So going back to our regularly scheduled program where you know what you're drawing and you get to see an example of it before we get started. I am going to do more surprise drawings. I probably won't do it as a full week. I probably will just have days here and there where it's a surprise drawing. I really kind of liked that. I thought it was fun, one for, for you guys to just kind of find out and guess while you were creating it. And then it was also fun for me to be doing the drawing for the first time with you versus pre-drawing it and then drawing it again. There was something fun about kind of doing it for the first time. So let's see. I don't really have any other announcements. Those who ordered shirts, they are shipping out, I think, at the end of the week. They'll be to you next week is how I think it's working. Something like that. They kind of do, this company does orders in batches, so we got in on first batch. We will have more products available at some point. Working on that also. Let's see. I have a birthday who I'm going to give a shout out to right now because it was over the weekend. So Wilder, happy late birthday. Your birthday was, I believe, it may have even been on Friday, and I missed it. I'm sorry. It wasn't a live video and it threw me off. So happy birthday, Wilder. I hope you had a good weekend. Maybe you got to celebrate all weekend. So book week, today is Dr. Seuss, which again, it's a little bit of a surprise for you guys because that could go a million different ways. I love Dr. Seuss. It was a little difficult to pick a favorite, but I really kind of do have a favorite. So I went with that. It was also my son's favorite. He was absolutely obsessed with the movie version of this. So that's a little clue there. So yes, Dr. Seuss today. Wednesday, we're doing Captain Underpants. And then Friday, we are doing a Harry Potter doodle page. Say that 3 times fast. Yeah, that'll be fun on Friday. You'll get your doodle page and you'll get more Harry Potter items. I know people have wanted to do other Harry Potter themed things, so you'll get that. And here we go. So let me flip this around and you guys can see what we are doing today for Dr. Seuss. Well, happy birthday, Jamie. So here we go. We're going to do the Lorax. The Lorax is really one of my favorites. I both love the book and I really loved the movie. My son was obsessed with this movie at a point. I can't even tell you how many times we watched it. Very good message too. That's the thing with Seuss, you guys. That guy had some great messages in his books. So that's what we're going to do today, the Lorax. And we're doing the version from the movie versus the original version from the book. You can add in other items. I'm going to add something in today, but you could definitely do more of the trees all through the background. You could do some of the other creatures that were in the movie, so have fun with it. So let's get going on the Lorax. So to start with, I am going to put kind of a oval on my page. And that is the wonkiest oval I ever did see, so I'm just going to straighten that out a bit. Sometimes you can just tell when you're drawing something that you cut it too tight or made it bigger on one side. But as you can see, I just add that extra line and kind of fix the shape. So this is mostly the Lorax's body, and then we need to add his head. So above the body, I'm going to draw kind of a hot dog tip, or like the top of a candy corn. And once you have that, you can erase the line that cuts across. And if you wanted to, you could have just made, this shape all in one piece, but I kind of like to break it up. Again, it makes it kind of a little bit easier. I'm just fixing those sides, making them blend in a little bit more. So we almost end up kind of like a pear, right? Kind of looks like a pear. And the key thing with the Lorax is that mustache. So I'm going to create the dip of his mustache first on the face, that curve. And then I'm going to take it out on one side and take it out on the other. And then the middle portion, I'm going to do that next. So I'm going to start in the middle of the mustache and do a line that drops down and curves out. And then same on the other side. Those didn't match up quite. And then now you're going to connect these two, and you're going to do that with zigzags. So just kind of zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag, zig. Same on this side, zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag, zig, zag. And once you have that on where you like it, you can erase the lines that go across the mustache. I'm going to change this one ever so slightly so it matches up a little bit better on the other side. For his mouth, you can start it off to the side of the mustache and just create a little drop down and then come back up. And then he has a little upper lip here and there's some fur in it. So I'm just going to go zigzag, zigzag, and then back into the mustache. So this is his upper lip, his lower lip, and we'll put a little line underneath this so it looks like a lip. His nostrils will be right above the center point right on top of this curve of the mustache, and you're just going to do 2 ovals. And then I do a little curved line off to each side for the nose. Now the Lorax's eyebrows are also quite obnoxious. So you're going to start, you don't want to be dead center. You can find where your center line is and come a little bit off to the side of center because you don't want the eyebrows touching. He didn't have a unibrow. That's where the eyebrows touch. So just come out and you can come out here, and then just like we did with that mustache, you can connect this with that zigzag. Same on the other side. Come out, up, and zigzag. You can erase the face line that goes into the mustache. I'm actually going to make this one come, the eyebrow. I'm going to make this one come in a little bit more. And then I also want a little bit of a dip in his head. So instead of being perfectly round, I'm going to just dip that down a little bit and back up. Just a little drop down in the center. Now for his eyes, just do a slightly curved line coming out to the side of his head. You can repeat that on the other side. And then a curved line to connect, a curved line to connect. We'll put a circle inside of that shape. A line inside of the circle, and then one more little circle for that circle of light. So again, a circle inside of the shape, a line inside of the circle, and then one more little circle for the circle of light. And that is your Lorax face. For his legs, they're very simple, his legs and his feet. So again, you can find your center point. You're going to do a line and a line on the other side. He's scary. He looks cuter once you color him in. Once you color the Lorax in, he looks a little less scary. And then do your line a little bit over from that, not coming all the way to the bottom. And then his feet, you're kind of curving them out to a point and bringing it back in. So instead of doing that mound over, he has more of a point to his feet. So down, curve, and back in. Erase those lines that go across his legs. Some of it is the eyes. Sometimes when you draw eyes look a little bit creepy until you actually give them color. His hands are a little more complicated, but they're still pretty easy. We've done much more difficult hands before. So starting from the side of the body where it starts to curve out, I'm just going to bring a line that comes out for his arm. And then he's holding his hand like this, like out, like, what are you doing? So I'm going to do a line that comes up, and it's going to go into a thumb. So a little hot dog tip. And then you're going to come a little bit inside of that hot dog tip and do a line that comes out to a point and bring it down. You'll put finger lines in here. And then you'll have his wrist coming down, and his arm goes back up to the body. Made that a little bit too big. There we go. You could have him holding something in his hand. His other arm is a little bit easier because it's just kind of on the hip. So you're coming from the same point. You want the arms to start in the same general space. And you're going to come out and then curve it back down. This is the palm of his hand, so you're going to do a little curve right there. And then his fingers, because they're on his hip, it's going to curve back and in. Make that a little bit bigger. And same thing that I did over here, I can add some of those finger lines in. And then you just do the triangle inside to give that shape to show that his hand is on his hip. I'm still not super excited about this arm. I want it thinner. Let's keep making changes. This is the problem when you draw in pencil, is you can get stuck on something. You guys do that where you just feel like you keep drawing the same thing over and over because you don't like the way it looks? You can erase the line that connects the arm, both sides. That arm is still a lot fatter, so I'm going to fatten this one up a little bit. Then I'm just going to let it go. Now you do want to put a little hair inside the Lorax, so you can just do some zigzags inside of his body. You could also put a couple on the side. We've done this before, where you just do little zigzags on the exterior of the body to give some fur. And I'm going to put some between his legs. Maybe one here on the side. Let it go. Right? And now I'm going to put a line for the ground that he stands on. He is kind of like an avocado. That is an avocado shape. I probably made him even a little bit fatter than he needs to be. Like this could come in more, but you know, I'm not going to worry about that. I like sometimes having my drawings be a little bit fatter than they should be, or they are typically. Now for the tree I'm just going to start with a circle. And then coming off of that circle will be a curved line. And then the tree trunk gets fatter, but it doesn't get all that fat. Their trees were pretty slim. My hand is sticking to the table. Just making it. There will be stripes down the trunk of the tree. Has everyone seen the Lorax? You can put a little bit of grass in, just doing some little zigzags down at the bottom. And then where you put that grass, I actually would end up taking out the trunk of the tree right there and taking out the ground line, just kind of having the grass line be there. Now the trees in the Lorax are furry. So you're going to go around this whole thing with fur, with pointy triangles. And they kind of all go in the same direction. So I'm not going to switch and have them come this way. I want to go all the way around. Oh, if you haven't seen the Lorax, you really should. It's very, very cute. It's a very sweet story, and the music in it is great. Okay. I don't like the way that one looks. So this is going to look really messy right here, but I'll fix it when I go in pen. So you basically want this like circular motion, and then all of this inner line won't be there. When you draw this in your pen, and I'll do that first actually, you're just going to do the puff of the tree. So I'm ready for pen now. So I'll start up here in the tree. I'm actually going to rip this paper out. And like I said, I can fix any of these spots where I kind of was going a little bit crazy. And sometimes it's easier when your paper is ripped out, because then you can just keep turning your page, which helps you keep that shape. You can see I'm not even going over the top of the ones I had originally done. Add one more in there. Let's put one more. There we go. And then the trunk. Just to the grass. The trunk. To the grass. The lines that go diagonally down the trunk. That grass in. just move this out of the way. So just remember, when you're doing your pencil drawing, you know, sometimes if there's something you're getting hung up on, like with this, for example, I just knew I didn't like the way it looked in pencil, but I didn't want to keep going over it in pencil or erasing and starting again. And so some shapes like that, just go for it in pen, because then you're kind of locked in. And sometimes you'll find it just looks better. It just works when you just do it. You just go for it. It's again why I enjoy working in pen from the get-go, because then I can't get too hung up on the little oopsies or the wonky stuff. Little nose. Coloring that eye in. See, now I think his eyes look a little less scary. He's a goofy looking guy for sure. Lots of the creatures in Dr. Seuss have goofy looks to them. Very fanciful. What are your favorite Dr. Seuss books? Did you have favorites either growing up or now? Ones you read regularly? I thought about doing thing 1 and thing 2. Your pen mustache is much better than your pencil. Good. See, I think that happens sometimes. These little finger lines, and then I'm ready to erase. There we go. Yes, green eggs and ham. That's one of my favorites. That's a great one. I do not like them, Sam. I am. That's like my kid. I can't get him to eat anything on a boat with a goat. Now the Lorax is pretty simple. He is yellow eyebrows, yellow mustache, and then the rest of him is orange. A little bit of brown in his eyes. And then the tree, you can have a lot of fun with the tree. The trees were very colorful. They tended to be like bright yellows and bright purples or bright pinks and yellow, and you can have a lot of fun with the trees. You could add a lot of trees in, actually. I used to get the Dr. Seuss books in the mail too, and a Sesame Street book. So I'm going to put brown up here in his eyes. And yellow. Eyebrows, those big bushy eyebrows. He has a quarantine mustache and quarantine eyebrows. Yeah, Oh, the Places You'll Go is great. That's a great gift for people too for graduation. It's a good book. This little upper lip will be orange, and I need to color inside the mouth black. I forgot to do that with my pen, but I'll go back through. I did the same thing last night. Did everyone have a good weekend? Did you guys do anything fun? It was very hot. I spent time in my little pool in the backyard. Picked some blackberries, went on a little bike ride before it got too hot, and then mostly just hung out inside. Started watching Hamilton. I didn't finish it yet. We're kind of watching it in stages. I want to watch it with my son, and he won't sit through the whole thing. So we're having intermissions. I'm sure it is gorgeous. It's probably cooler there again today. It's cooling down here. Now let me find an orange for him. I want kind of a yellowish orange. And the whole rest of his body is this orange color. You know, they're not stuck in my head because it's the first time I've ever seen it. So I've never heard it before. So it's like I I haven't gotten to the point where I think I would have to watch it a couple times for it to be catchy and for me to be like hearing them. Plus, I haven't watched the whole thing. I also feel like I don't know. It's really interesting, but I almost turned subtitles on, which makes me feel really old. But sometimes I don't. I'm having a hard time even knowing what they're saying. They go so fast. And it's funny because I actually listen to a lot of like hip hop and rap music. But in the play, it's like I'm having a hard time absorbing what they're saying because they go so quick. I love it. But yeah, it hasn't reached the catchy phase for me yet because I've literally never had listened to anything Hamilton. I hadn't, I know a lot of people who listened to it, who had never seen it, but they had the CD or, downloaded it or whatever, and they listened to it over and over and over again. It's so fast. So some of it I feel like I'm missing, and we're not that far into it, so I feel like I might start it with subtitles the next time I watch it, or I might have to just listen to the CD and then watch it, because I definitely feel like I'm missing some stuff. Oh, what's a libretto? What is that? I don't know that word. It's very impressive. There is I think I mentioned this on a drawing before, but if you have Apple TV, there's a great show called Dear, Dear, and there's an episode with Lin-Manuel, and he talks about kind of how he ended up writing that, how he created Hamilton. I mean, it's impressive what he did. Oh, the words, the script. That would work. I am such a lyrics person when it comes to music. So I love music, and oftentimes, if it's an artist I like or something, I look up the words, or, if you buy the music and the words are inside, I always read along while they're singing. So I feel like I need to do the same with Hamilton. But yes, if you have Apple TV, I highly recommend the movie or the show Dear. It's a series, and I've watched a couple episodes so far, and I actually think it's even great for kids to watch. I've seen Lin-Manuel. I watched Spike Lee. I watched one other one. I think Oprah's coming up, but it's just all these people, and they talk about how they got started, what their big breaks were, but then people like you and me who are inspired by them and have written them letters, like fan mail, are reading their fan mail and talking about how that person inspired them. It's just very well done. It's very beautiful. I think there's a Stevie Wonder episode. Yeah, there's a bunch of different famous people and then people who were inspired by what they've done. But it was interesting to listen to Lin-Manuel and how he came up with Hamilton and the first song he wrote, and that he kind of did it. I mean, he kind of started as a joke. He didn't expect it to be what it was at all. All right, there's my Lorax all colored in. I'm gonna do this purple. I think I'm gonna do purple and green today, since I already have yellow in the Lorax and I want to add a different color. I'm going to use my favorite color green in my pencils. Try to sneak it in there whenever I can. And it looks good with this green. So that is what I shall do. I will put some green too down in the ground and in the grass, but I don't color that in too much. You know, if you've drawn with me before, you know, I don't do a lot of background stuff on here with you guys because, you know, then you're just watching me color forever. So this pea green, my favorite green. Come into all these in between. I'll use this same green to color in the puffball at the top. That one's a little trickier because you have to kind of go around all the different little puffs. In fact, I'm going to sharpen my pencil a bit. Just a little. So to start, I'm going to color in all of these puffs first, all of these little triangles first. Kind of the same concept of, you know, when I color and I kind of go around the border. Getting these done first will allow me to go faster when I color in the middle. Spinning my paper because it makes it easier. And if you haven't seen the Lorax, then that's what you should do today. If you don't have anything to do, you should find the Lorax and watch it. The more, I say the more recent one, it wasn't super recent, but the one that came out like, I don't know, maybe 5 years now, 6 years, I can't even remember. I feel like it wasn't that long ago, but then at the same time, I feel like my son was maybe 4 or 5 and he's already 10. Where does the time go? Good story, good message, good music, really fun. I'm going to come down and just do a little green grass. And then I just take that green just a little bit along this bottom edge, kind of scribble coloring. And then I am going to write my favorite Lorax quote. Find a good pen. So it's unless someone, which is such a good message for so many different reasons. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot nothing What is your son's name? It's a big quote. There we go. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. Well, happy birthday, Jonah. I hope you have a good birthday. Find a way to celebrate. Do something fun. And there we go. There is my Lorax drawing, my Dr. Seuss, the start of book week. Thank you so much for drawing with me. Don't forget to load your pictures onto the page. I really love seeing them and sharing in the art with you. We will be back on Wednesday with a live drawing. We will be doing Captain Underpants. And let's see, that's really all I have. I hope you enjoyed the drawing today. I hope you get a chance to watch the Lorax if you haven't. And I will see you guys on Wednesday. Happy drawing, you guys.